Before we turn it over to you guys today, we're actually going to start with a quick update from Brian. He has some pertinent news regarding some team updates. So we're going to throw to him at this time, and then we'll go to you guys for questions. Brian, go ahead.
Okay, welcome everyone. I hope everybody's having a great Friday afternoon. We just want to give you guys a little injury update before we get started. So Nicolás Lodeiro had surgery, arthroscopic surgery yesterday to kind of deal with his lingering inflammation in his knee joint. It was a successful surgery. Everything went well. Nico's great. And we are going to make a press announcement with further details later this afternoon. That's number one. And then number two, regarding Steph's injury, he had a complication because of the injury he suffered against San Jose, and he actually developed a blood clot. Ooh. And so what happened is we're going to be very careful. It's obviously a little bit more serious than just a sprained knee. And so Steph, as a person, we've always been good as a club to make sure we take care of our players. That is our number one concern right now. So he will be out for an undetermined amount of time as the doctors work through the procedures to get him back on the field. But with both players, we do expect them to get back for parts of the regular season, and we'll keep you guys updated as far as those timelines as needed.
Thank you, Coach, for those updates. We'll hand it over to you guys now. As usual, we'll keep it pretty informal. If you want to bring yourself off mute to ask a question, that's fine. Our only ask is that when you're done asking your question, please mute yourself again, just so we can cut down on the background noise. We'll hand it over to you guys at this time.
Hey, Coach, just going off of what you were just saying there, what's the mood of the team like right now when they learned of Steph's blood clots and that got around the locker room?
Well, obviously that's a serious thing, but that's the beauty of this particular group and the groups that we've had in Seattle. It's a tight locker room, Jackson. And so guys rally around when things don't go well. That's one of the things I'm most proud of this team is they actually rally around their teammates. They protect their teammates both on and off the field. And certainly it was big news. But they're going to rally around Steph. We have all faith in Steph Cleveland, and we're going to keep playing. I mean, we've done without him for a couple games. We've done without Nico. It's not good news, but it's something that we're going to confront, and we're going to just keep our next man up theory going, and we'll go from there.
Brian, Austin has been in every one of their games except the Sporting Kansas City game. They've dominated possession. So when you look at the way they play and when you look at how Josh sets them up, what do you think the key is to getting all 3 points against them on Sunday? And what have been your impressions of them so far?
Well, the impressions are good. I mean, Josh has done a good job. I mean, he had a good mentor in Greg Berhalter. He certainly had a great playing career, so he's an accomplished person. And the fact that you go into MLS these days, an expansion team, and the pressures and all of the stuff that goes on in the franchise, I think Austin's done very well. What I would say is that teams that like to dictate tempo with possession, that's certainly we could look back at our previous game against Atlanta, and hopefully we've kind of learned from that. But it'll be a tough game. All the games in MLS are tough, and again, our objective will be to come out on the front foot, put pressure on them, see if we can interrupt their possession sequences, and then critical factor for us is we did not have many extended possession sequences against Atlanta, and we'll try and change that.
Brian, speaking of injuries, Garth mentioned this week that there was a chance that Atencio may be held out just as a precaution until after the break. Is that any change there with Josh?
You're asking me to confirm that?
Well, I guess sure. Yeah, can you confirm that, or yeah? Can you
I'll confirm
that?
it. It doesn't make sense, Jeremiah, to put the kid at risk. I mean, he's running around on the field, but I need to be careful. He's, we're going to have a tough schedule as soon as we get back from this little break. So, I think it's just smarter for us to, keep the team as it is. I've got confidence in the guys that are there. I've got a couple young guys on the bench. Danny Leva's come on and done well. Not afraid to put Reed on. So we'll be okay for this game.
Brian, on Nico's surgery, was that something the doctor suggested he kind of wanted to do? Could you go in a little bit into that?
I'm not going to get into all the details, Nico. I know it was a group that was the best course of action to, eliminate the swelling that was in his knee, and the surgery came out successful.
Thank you, Coach.
Brian, you said you expected both of him and Steph to be back this year. Any chance you could narrow that down with Nico? I imagine the timeline on Steph is a little harder to tell, but
yeah,
do you have any idea how long Nico might be out?
It's going to be an extended time again because of the nature of the surgery, which more details will come out, Jeremiah. It's not going to be, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, right after the break. It'll be that. Again, he is, our captain, a valuable asset. That's one of the benefits of having a good start. Rush him along. I'm going to just make sure that this injury gets settled so it doesn't come back. So we'll be, cautious with the rehab and just make sure when he's ready, he's totally ready. And then, yeah, with Steph's, you said it. I mean, there's no real concrete timeline there. We'll just keep you updated.
Other questions, guys?
Yes, for sure. There's a lot going on. Coach, obviously, it's still continues to be a good season for the team in general. But when things like this happen, how much does it change your overall plan for the season, whether it's, signings for the summer window or your formation? Is there anything that really changes with this news, or you're just going to continue to go as it's been happening?
No. I mean, look, we were always geared up to try and, add pieces in the summer. I think that hasn't changed, Nico. And, again, we haven't had Nico, and he's a big part of our team, but I think guys have stepped up. And so I'm not going to change the formation. I mean, our formation is working. So both of those questions, I can definitely say we're not gonna change anything. We're still gonna go out and try and win games and, be as good as we can in our new formation. And then, Garth and Craig and all the scouts, Ravi, the dad, they're working on potential targets for the summer.
You mentioned that there was a lot that you wanted to do and change into, for this game, because there were just little things that didn't quite work against Atlanta. How have you seen the team that motivated, perhaps a Christian Roldan that was just a little tad off last game in the final third, in general, how have you seen the group motivated to just get a big performance against Austin?
Well, the group is always motivated, Nico. They're always this group, the groups I've had, again, going to 4 championships in 5 years, this group is motivated. But what I would say from a technical side of things, have we worked on extending our possessions? Yes, we have. Have we worked on our understanding of, when we get into the prime assist zone, that where the final pass is going to be delivered and who is supposed to be in which area of the field? Yes, we have. Have we worked on some of our, transition attacking that didn't come off against Atlanta? Yes, that's what we've used this week for. And we will continue to try and get better as a group, as a team. That's just the way we train. That's a normal week for us, is to prepare for our next opponent based on, the previous match and what we've learned. And, you scout your opponent and you try and find, weaknesses and plan for those.
Jay Mitch, you got one? Yeah, go for it. I see you.
Yeah, sure. Coach, just on Alex Roldan, I know in the preseason and even after maybe the first week or two, you talked about him needing to work on improve on his on the defensive half of the field. It looked to me as a layperson like he's really improved, particularly the last game. I thought he had a monster game defensively. I wonder how you think he's progressing this year.
Yeah, he has worked on that. I mean, we all saw Alex's quality going forward, and that was one of the reasons why we changed into a 5-man back line or wing backs, or however you want to explain it, was because it highlighted both Brad and Alex's strengths, and it gave them a little bit of cover, defensively, with a right-sided center back and a left-sided center back. So I would say that Alex still needs to continue to get better in case we ever go back to a normal back four. But last game, I agree with you 100%. He intercepted so many passes. His defending was good. His 1v1 defending is getting better. His understanding of when to press and when to stay off, the small visual cues that players need to be successful. I think he's trending in the right direction.
That's good.
I guess I'll ask one more. Coach, now that Stefan Frei won't be back for a while, do you feel like how tight-knit the goalkeeping room is, and with Tom as goalkeeping coach, and the way Stefan Cleveland has played so far, and just being around Stefan Frei and learning from him, how confident are you going forward with Stefan Cleveland, and how do you think he's done so far?
Very confident, and you guys have seen it. He's played well. He's done everything we've asked. I believe that my direct quote was he exceeded our expectations after the first game that he played, and that continues to be the case. It is a tight-knit group. Stefan Frei has been a massive part of this club, but he will be there on game day. He will continue to show his face and still continue to help the young goalkeepers on the team, because that's the type of person Stefan Frei is. So, I'm not overly concerned. We just wish the best for, Stefan Frei's full recovery.
On the goalkeepers, Andrew Thomas, I don't imagine that he's necessarily in line for a lot of first team action, but what is the plan for him? And if you could just kind of tell us I don't know that it had anything to do with Steph, but if you could just kind of tell us what the plan is for him.
That was before that came before Steph's injury. The plan for him is to bring him in, Jeremiah, have Tommy work him out, assess him. Prior to the injury, Stefan Frei's injury, we were planning on giving Steph Cleveland some games at Defiance. We're going to give Spence down at Defiance, merge those two guys so they stay sharp. Herrera's done an okay job for Defiance as well. So I would say we're well stocked at that position. And, we'll just try and find a place for all of them when it comes to games. But I know Andrew Thomas is going to get, the best coaching in MLS with Tommy Dutra, and hopefully he'll progress.
Brian, obviously, how do I put this? With the good season you've had, and the changes and the deficiencies you've had, and you being able to do the best start in Sounders history. They're starting to be talked that perhaps has not been in the past about you being in talks for coach of the year. Obviously, it's extremely early, but the fact that your name gets mentioned when perhaps in the past that hasn't been the case this early in the season, like how does that make you feel, and does that just want to get your take on that?
Nico, thank you for bringing that up. I have been, mentioned on national broadcasts over the years in many different areas. And all this does is give me a platform to talk about what a tremendous staff I have. You want to talk about Tommy Dutra getting Stefan Cleveland ready, or Spence ready, or Andrew Thomas ready in case we had a injury to Stefan Frei, who has been an Iron Man for this club. You check that box. You have Gonzalo, who does so much for the club. A Champions League winner, and Jimmy Traore, who just knows what it takes to win at the highest levels. Preki is an MLS Coach of the Year. So there you have it. It is a staff that is very committed to winning. We understand the culture of this club, and we are a tremendous staff. I don't want to say we're the best staff in MLS, but privately, Nico, I think we are. So there you go.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, if you could, I'm curious what you think of Christian Roldan's performance this year. He doesn't necessarily have the big counting stats, but he has been very influential this year. Seems to have kind of taken a step forward. And if you could kind of talk about his progress, and if you've had any discussions with Berhalter about his place in the national team.
I have not had direct conversations with Greg about Christian's inclusion in the national team. But what I would say for the record is that Christian has been a massive part of our start. And look, we lost Jordan Morris last year, and Jordan was the one that stretched the field for us. And so we were kind of, wondering, how is Brad going to replicate that? Jordan's movement, a little deeper, all of that. But on the other side of the field, with Alex, Alex isn't, he's not slow, but it's not Jordan Morris pace or Brad Smith pace. And what Christian does is, from a deeper position, a deep lying midfielder position, he has been able to get behind our opponent on numerous occasions the field, to open up the field for us in our transition moments. And it kind of balances us out. Christian on one side, Brad on the other. I think that's a massive reason why we've been successful. Now, Christian plays well in the pockets. I think I told you guys this, whether it's 4-2-3-1 and I played him at right wing and he came into the pocket. The particular position he plays here in our 3-4-1-2, it's very similar. So Jeremiah, I think it's just a continuation of that kid's growth. I think at age 26, 27, I forget how old he is, maybe 25, 26. I mean, he's coming into his prime. These are his prime years, and he's playing for us. And, I hope he gets another shot at national team games, because I believe he can help. I believe he can help the U.S.